Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Let's Max Warframe, where we take weapons, try and get the maximum potential out of each of them. Today we're going to be continuing our recent theme of Update 17 content by taking a look at another shotgun to be recently buffed, the Grineer shotgun, the Sobek. Now, I've had a lot of requests recently for me to do a video on this even before the shotgun buff happened. However, I wanted to wait for it to happen before taking a look at it. So what do you actually get from the weapon now this buff has finally happened? Well, you get a pretty decent base damage of 350.1, with the majority, 262.5, coming in the form of impact, 43.8 as both puncture and slash, giving it one of the highest base damages of weapons in the game. In addition to that, it comes with a fairly average 10% critical chance, 200% multiplier, and 15% status chance. However, the real good points of the weapons come when you combine that decent base damage with a very tight pellet spread, and one of the furthest fall off ranges out of all of the shotguns, pretty much similar to something like the Heck. But the thing that really sets this apart from most of the other shotguns is that fantastic 20 round magazine that it comes with, meaning that the damage output per magazine of this thing is absolutely fantastic. Even if you take into account that super slow reload of 4 seconds, you still get 20 shots for a 4-second reload, whereas something like the Heck has 4 shots for every 2-second reload. So another upside of the Sobek is the fact that, unlike most of the other shotguns, with the exception of the Bore and its Prime, is it's fully automatic, which means those that don't enjoy single shot weapons can very much take advantage of this shotgun, and have the power of shotguns without the inconvenience of having to click constantly. Now, the Sobek doesn't have it all its own way. To start with, it's mostly impact damage, which is by far the worst damage type in the game. It really only has a bonus to shields, making it best against the Corpus, but amusingly, even against the Corpus, it suffers a minus to flesh, which the Corpus have a lot of, and in fact a lot of the units in the game are resistant to impact as a whole. Maybe Sentients will be weak to impact to give it a role in the game, I don't know, but right now impact is easily the weakest of the damage types. Another downside to the weapon is the low pellet count. Although it has a very tight spread, the fact it's only got 4 base pellets not only means less multi-shot potential than some of the higher ones, but each pellet missed accounts for a larger portion of damage not applied. And let's be honest, while linearly the long reload of the Sobek means that it's more efficient than some of the other shotguns, you are still going to have a reload of 4 seconds every now and again, which is 4 seconds that you can't do anything. So it's definitely something that is a downside of the Sobek, regardless of how efficient that is. Now, the Sobek does have access to a Syndicate mod, Shattering Justice, which increases the status chance by a flat 20, and adds the radial justice effect of 1000 blast damage. Now, there is an issue with this Syndicate mod that makes me not use it, and that's its relationship between the status increasing mods. Now, when you think of this mod, you see in-game 35% base status when you add this on. Well, okay, fair enough, but the problem is that the status increasing mods like the dual stats only add the status chance as if it was taking from the original base status of 15%. What this means is that the actual increase from these status mods is not affected by the Syndicate mod. Now, this is a real shame, because if they did, then that would actually make the Sobek into a 100% status capable shotgun, which is actually an extremely fun weapon to have. Instead, I just don't feel that the status increase from that and the dual stat mods is worth modding for. Again, as I said in the shotgun status video, that is going to be personal preference. I did explain all of that in the shotgun status video recently, and the maths that I did for the Sobek in that video is going to be in the description of the video below. But let me just reiterate, as I said in that previous video, personal preference is still key. If you like the Syndicate mod, and if you like status on this weapon, then go for it. I personally don't, and I personally don't think the Syndicate mod is working as it should be. However, it's not been changed since it came out, so perhaps it is supposed to be like that, but I just don't like the Syndicate mod. The actual bonus from the Justice effect doesn't negate the fact of just how much I don't like the actual stat increase on that Syndicate mod. Okay, so let's move on to starting to mod the Sobek. Now, it doesn't come with any polarities as standard, so we're going to add 5 former, which is going to be 3 Vs and 2 dashes. Now, we've got 4 mods remaining the same between all 3 of our builds. Prime Point Flank for damage, Hell's Chamber for multi-shot, Tactical Pump, which is going to help with our reload speed, and Seeking Fury, which is also going to help with the reload speed, as well as adding punch through to the weapon. Now, because I'm not modding this for status, as I've explained, I'm going to go for full elemental here. So our Grineer build, we're going to go with Blaze for that heat damage, as well as the extra damage, and Charged Shell, which is going to bring up radiation, and Chilling Grasp and Contagious Spread for viral. Now, against the Corpus, I'm actually going with a bit of a different build, as I'll explain a little bit later. So Chilling Grasp and Charged Shell for magnetic, Contagious Spread for toxin, and Vicious Spread, which is going to increase the damage of all of the above. So we're going this is a bit of an experimental build. Like I say, I'm going to talk a little bit about that later in the video. And for the Void, Contagious Spread and Charged Shell for corrosive, and Blaze and Incendiary Coat for extra heat damage. Okay, so do I feel that the Sobek is worth the former and the time and effort to max? And the answer to that is finally, yes it is. Honestly, I've been holding off doing the Sobek for quite a while for 2 main reasons. Firstly, the shotgun buff was coming and I wanted to give it a fair shot. And the second reason was that a lot of people were requesting a video on it. And I was a bit wary of turning around and saying that, honestly, I don't like it. Because before the buff, I didn't. Thankfully, the shotgun buff has actually saved me from saying that I don't like the weapon. The Sobek is now a fantastic shotgun. It does tons of damage, it pumps out a massive amount of damage per clip. Easily one of the highest of any of the shotguns. Okay, it suffers from being melee impact, so it is going to drop off pretty quickly, even at T3. I was finding at about 40 minutes in T3 survival, the damage was really dropping off pretty hard. And okay, it's got a pretty long reload, but it's all controllable through mods. Dropping a bit of elemental for a reload mod is a great idea, and it makes it feel a lot less painful to use, especially when combined with Seeking Fury mod, adding punch through, as well as that little bit of extra reload. It's a beautiful bit of extra effectiveness for the Sobek. Beforehand, I found the Sobek to be clumsy and clunky to use. The damage was poor, and it wasn't like it could fall back on its Syndicate mod to be able to give it a role in the Warframe universe. Now, I do want to address something here that has been bothering me since that shotgun status video, and arguably since the Heck video. I am not telling you guys never ever to mod for status on shotguns. I was giving you guys the knowledge of how it works, and the reasons why I personally don't mod for status. Personal preference is everything in Warframe. People can give you builds for weapons, but there is no such thing as a single best build, regardless of what some people would have you believe. The idea behind these videos is to give you guys ideas for your own builds, and show builds that I find highly effective, so that you might be able to get the most out of a weapon if you get stuck for a build. Ultimately, you guys can take the info we give, like that I give in these videos, that other YouTubers give, like in that shotgun status video, and you guys choose what you want to do with it. If you like status on your shotguns, I'm not going to reach out on my PC screen and strangle you for being wrong, because there is no right or wrong, it's personal opinion. Perhaps I should have kept it purely the facts of how the mechanics work, and not talk about my opinion on the matter, but it is what it is. Okay, so now that's out the way. Other ways to mod the Sobek: you could go with a status build with a Syndicate mod. Just because I don't like it doesn't mean you won't like it. Sadly, I don't feel there's many different ways to mod. Increasing magazine capacity was one of the ones I was suggested rather than the reload mod, which is actually not a horrible idea. And my Corpus build is a bit of an experimental build that I've been trying out. In general, I'm not a fan of Vicious Spread, because I really don't like having any pellets missing, but I found it kind of reasonably good on the Sobek. So rather than having heat damage due to Blaze and then the corresponding 90% elemental, which does have a negative against proto shields on the Corpus, I'm trying out Vicious Spread with pathogen rounds to see whether this bonused elemental beats that unbonused heat damage. So far it's looking promising, and it might change a few of my shotgun builds in the future. I decided this video has taken too long to come out, and delaying further while I did more testing was not a great idea for you guys. But to sum up, fantastic damage, amazing magazine size, and a sustained damage output that rivals a lot of other weapons, balanced with that very, very long reload and the fact that its impact. The Sobek has gone from zero to hero, a weapon that honestly I absolutely hated, to one I had to admit I had a lot of fun with while I was leveling it, one that will get quite a bit of use in the future. As always guys, more content coming as soon as we carry on through the update 17 stuff, so stay tuned and I shall see you in the next episode.
To infinity and beyond!